The gut's ability to sense, interpret, and transmit microbial signals to the brain, what we might call the neurobiotic sense, is a finely tuned system that evolved over millions of years in synchrony with our internal ecosystems. But this elegant communication network is increasingly being disrupted by modern environmental exposures, antibiotics, chronic stress, and chemical pollutants. These disruptors don't just kill off microbes, they can distort the gut's sensory accuracy, altering the way we experience hunger, satisfaction, mood, and even decision-making. The result is not only digestive discomfort or inflammation, but also a potentially long-term rewiring of the very circuits that govern emotion and behavior. Antibiotics are the most obvious and well-documented threat. Designed to eliminate pathogenic bacteria, they often cause collateral damage, wiping out beneficial gut flora, sometimes for months or years. Especially during early life or repeated courses, antibiotics can drastically reduce microbial diversity, blunt short-chain fatty acid, SCFA, production, and impair the generation of neuroactive metabolites like GABA and serotonin precursors. This microbial silence doesn't go unnoticed by the brain. With fewer microbial signals reaching neuropod cells and vagal afferents, the brain may receive a distorted picture of the gut's internal state. Appetite-regulating pathways can falter, leading to either hyperphagia or appetite suppression. Some individuals report long-term changes in mood or food preferences after aggressive antibiotic use, and animal studies support these observations, showing increased anxiety-like behaviors, impaired social interaction, and altered reward sensitivity following microbiome depletion. But it's not only antibiotics that interfere. Psychosocial stress is a potent and often overlooked disruptor of the neurobiotic sense. Chronic stress suppresses vagal tone, increases intestinal permeability, leaky gut, and shifts microbial composition toward pro-inflammatory species. Stress hormones like cortisol and CRH directly affect gut epithelial cells, reducing mucus production and altering the gut's barrier function, opening the door for microbial fragments like LPS, lipopolysaccharide, to leak into circulation and trigger low-grade inflammation. In turn, this inflammatory environment may desensitize neuropod cells or overwhelm their signaling fidelity. The brain then begins to misread gut signals, interpreting mild discomfort as hunger or emotional tension as a need for high-calorie foods. This helps explain stress eating, as well as the bidirectional relationship between gut inflammation and mood disorders. Environmental toxins, particularly endocrine-disrupting chemicals, EDCs, like BPA, phthalates, and certain pesticides, add a third layer of interference. These compounds can alter the microbiota directly, often reducing beneficial strains like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium while promoting the growth of opportunistic bacteria. More insidiously, EDCs can bind to hormone receptors in the gut lining, altering how gut cells respond to nutrients and microbial products. Emerging research also suggests that some pollutants may affect the electrical properties of neuropod cells, reducing their ability to fire action potentials in response to microbial stimuli. This results in neurobiotic static, a confused or muted transmission of gut-derived data to the brain. This sensory distortion has real-life consequences. When gut-brain signaling is disrupted, the body's ability to detect fullness or assess nutritional quality weakens. People may feel unsatisfied even after eating enough, or crave ultra-processed foods that overstimulate a dulled reward circuit. Over time, this can lead to a kind of metabolic learned helplessness, where the body forgets how to respond appropriately to real food and begins to rely on external cues, advertising, emotions, stress, to guide eating behavior. Mood and cognition are equally affected. Polluted or inflamed guts have been linked to increased levels of cytokines that cross the blood-brain barrier, triggering neuroinflammation. This has been implicated in everything from low mood and fatigue to impaired memory and reduced impulse control. In children, early exposure to antibiotics, high-stress environments, or toxic chemicals correlates with increased risks for ADHD, anxiety, and even autism spectrum traits, possibly through gut-brain axis disruption during critical periods of development. Despite these risks, the neurobiotic sense is not fragile beyond repair. It remains adaptable, especially when environmental pressures are removed or reduced. Diet plays a major role here. Fiber-rich foods, fermented vegetables, polyphenol-rich fruits, and prebiotic compounds can help recolonize the gut with beneficial microbes that restore normal signaling. Probiotics, especially those targeting the vagus nerve or SCFA production, may help enhance neuropod responsiveness and recalibrate brain signaling. Stress reduction practices like meditation, deep breathing, and even singing or humming can increase vagal tone, reinforcing the gut-brain feedback loop. And awareness of environmental toxins, through food choices, water filtration, and reduced plastic use, offers long-term leverage over systemic disruptions. In essence, the neurobiotic sense is a sensory faculty as vital as taste or smell, but far more easily thrown off balance by modern life. Understanding how environmental disruptors interfere with this internal radar not only highlights new pathways to disease, it also points to empowering ways we can protect and restore the body's natural wisdom. The gut knows more than we think. We just need to keep its voice clear enough for the brain to hear.